Hi guys, you have to understand that the stock market is very interesting place, and at the same time, in order to properly work on it, you have to have understanding of how everything is working today. Today's webinar, even though I'm going to give you certain probably real companies and everything, still you have to consider your own circumstances before you make any trading or investment decisions. Remember, guys, I always repeat it, you worked hard for your money. So now you have to work hard in order to multiply those money, okay? And don't kind of do any silly steps on the stock market, because a lot of people approach stock market like a gambling. I wouldn't do that. Because there is a certain approach which I'm going to show you today, how you can trade stock market and make money constantly, right, without losing it. All right, agreed. Put whatever ticks that you understand that, and we'll continue. Okay, today's seminar called Step-by-Step System for Stock Market Investment. There are several systems, and I presume if you're already familiar with the stock market, probably you trade in one system or another system. Today's system is one of the most popular systems in the world. Okay, this system is used by the richest people on the planet. This system is used by people who kind of invest billions and billions of dollars. A lot of people, when they approach stock market, they can tell something like, oh, I can never be like Warren Buffett, or I can never be like George Soros, or can never be some like a big guy. And the reason for them is just we don't have that amount of money. But the interesting thing that if you just take the approach which those guys take when they allocate their capital on the stock market, you can get similar result or even better. And the main reason why you can get better results, because you have less amount of money. A lot of huge, like, I mean, portfolios, big portfolios like Warren Buffett, he feels very uncomfortable in the sense that he has several billion of dollars to invest. He cannot invest in small companies. He practically cannot invest in companies with a less than, would say, $10 billion in capitalization. You can easily invest in companies which $500 million capitalization, 1 billion capitalization, etc. And those companies sometimes they have higher potential to grow. Okay, so utilizing the same type of knowledge, same type of strategy which Warren Buffett uses, implementing the stock market with your capital, you can achieve much higher results than Warren Buffett. Okay, because for them, when they start buying or selling, I presume you know, when Warren Buffett announces that he bought something, the usually price for him is 5–10% higher than you could buy just night before that. Okay, and when he sells, he influences the market goes down. So for you, it wouldn't be the case unless you're managing billions of dollars as well. And I presume that would be the goal, right, eventually. Now, we are going to look today at how majority of investors make their decisions, how unprofessional investors making their decision, how professional investors making their decision, and what's the difference between them. Okay, because by understanding that, you will understand the volatility of the market, why the market is so volatile, is first of all, and how to use this situation in order to profit on your account. That would be the case. Now, we're going to look, because today we're going to talk about businesses in general and how to choose the proper company when you put in your money in. And of course, it's very important because when you're buying something, you're paying the price. But you have to understand the underlying value of this company. And it is very important to understand that the value is one thing and the price is a different thing. And we are trying to understand the difference between that and why on the stock market very often there is a huge difference between them in both directions. Sometimes the company can be valued properly. Sometimes it can be, like from the price perspective, sometimes it could be overvalued, but sometimes it can be undervalued. And I presume you understand that in our interest to buy companies which are undervalued at a certain period of time. But it is very important to also understand the reason why, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to speak about certain traits which you have to develop within you in order to become a successful stock market investor. And I presume those type of trades would be applicable in any area of investing. Okay, so if you invest in businesses like your local businesses, or invest in property as well. And guys, in the end, I will tell you about our community, about our investment club, about our like group where we meet and where we discuss companies, and how you can join this group. And if you want to study with us, you also can join us. Now, first of all, couple words, maybe 5 minutes. I'm going to share with you who we are and what we do. We call Global Investment Academy, and it is global because we provide education in 2 languages. I presume you understand that English is not my native language. Originally, I am from Russia. I lived in Europe, in Ireland for 11 years, and now I'm about close to 10 years in Australia, 9 years specifically. And I started Global Investment Academy when I came here to Sydney. The main reason for that was that at that time already, I was investing in the stock market, and I came actually here to Sydney for holidays. I lived in Ireland at that time. I don't know, guys, if you ever been to Ireland. I presume you understand that the weather is very, very different. In December, I came 5th of December from Ireland, and Ireland is a beautiful country, and I loved it. But when I came to Sydney, I just fell in love. Okay, I had 2 months holiday. I could take 2 months holiday because I ran my business. I had 3 showrooms in Ireland, and when I came here, I just couldn't make this decision to go back. So I actually was in a situation when I really, really loved Australia, but at the same time, I understand that I have a business to run in Ireland and kind of have to come back. But eventually, 6 weeks later, I've decided that I'm going to stay here in Sydney. So I've stayed in Sydney. And the interesting thing about it, probably a lot of you came from different countries as well, and you understand that it's not easy sometimes to stay in the sense of visa requirements and stuff like that. So what I did, I bought my 3rd education. And I received here financial and accountancy education here in Sydney for the reason to stay, to get a student visa at that time. And I didn't bother about working visa because I realized at that moment that the portfolio which I have on the stock market can sustain my living. And you probably know that Sydney is not the cheapest place to live. And kind of it made my life much easier to move here. By the way, I just posted my last night profit in my Facebook chat. I don't do it usually, but because of this event, it's close to $5,000 realized for one night. Okay, it's not every night like that, but if you know that the stock market actually was going down tonight, and still I managed to pull this profit, realized profit. There is something unrealized as well, which I'm going to pull a bit later. Now, I want guys you to note as well that stock market can be not only as an additional income for you, but also it can be a full-time income, which can sustain not only you, but your family as well. Now, when I stayed here, can you imagine previously, before that, I was running my 3 showrooms, and it was quite a busy job. And I had to constantly travel between different counties in Ireland. I had to manage my staff. And I was working like from 8 o'clock in the morning until very late. At the same time, I was running my investment portfolio. And actually, I only realized that I can live on that when I came to Sydney. Because, of course, there was a question, what should I do here in Sydney? And initially, I was going to different meetings like that. I joined meetup.com. And I sign up for all meetings, business meetings, investment meetings, psychology meetings, personal development meetings. And every night or every day, I would go to different locations and enjoy my life. Like, that's why probably I loved Australia, because within 6 weeks, I had so many new connections, new friends, which I even didn't have like in Ireland, because in Ireland, there wasn't opportunity like that. A lot of people, they just meet in a pub and drinking beer. That's about it. So in any way, a few weeks later, the situation happened like that, some of the like new friends start asking me, what do I do in the stock market? Because they were asking, how do I sustain myself? And I explained that stock market, and I constantly explain the deals which I make on a daily basis. If they ask me, what did I do today? I will explain you what did I do today. Okay, that's the way I worked. And eventually, the couple of my friends asked me, not real close friends at that time, but now we're really close friends. At that time, they asked me, "Can you, Igor, please explain how to do that?" And they were happy to pay money for this. So, and at that time, I realized that actually, for my education, for my knowledge, there are people who are willing to provide an income. And being a business person, being a businessman, I took this opportunity, and then I was invited to different investment clubs in order to provide financial information, because my other degree is Executive Master in Business Administration, which I obtained in Ireland. And these two educations, they helped me to understand businesses from inside, how they operate, how they run. And of course, by having the knowledge like that, I always can predict what is going to happen with this business. Do they have good marketing campaign? Do they have good operation processes, and etc., etc. So, and that's how I started. We started academy here in Sydney. And after that, already my friends from Europe, from Russia, my Russian friends, they asked me to translate it to Russian language. At that time in Russia, there wasn't any very, very limited information about stock market. So we translated it to Russian language. And at the moment we have quite a lot of people from that part of the world. Okay, and of course here in English as well. I would say probably that even that part of the business is developed much bigger. Demand is much more higher there. So since that, what we've done, because I understood that the education itself is not only a solution. There are a lot of people who know the stuff, but for whatever reason they are not taking actions. They can read the book, they can go to seminars, they can go through the educational program, they go to universities, but after that they have that bag of knowledge and they don't utilize those knowledge and don't implement in the practice. And the main reason is because of psychological blocks. Now, my first qualification, I have 3 guys qualifications. First qualification, I'm a medical doctor, I am a psychiatrist, and I've studied psychology from the medical psychology initially to psychology of success, business, and now investing. And I realized that a lot of people, we have certain kind of beliefs, we have certain limitations. And those limitations, they are blocking us from taking actions. That's why in order to assist our club, at that time, not club members, to assist to kind of step over those barriers, we created an investment club. Okay, and we have multiple investment clubs. We have investment clubs in Europe, in Russia, here in Australia, and we have online investment club where you can join and you can kind of participate in group discussions if you have live, or you can join our masterclass where we go through the process of analyzing the company, analyzing the trades, the deals, and as a result, you get the confidence which you require in order to make your first step and buy certain assets. That's what we created. And at the moment, we run online masterclasses again in 2 languages. And if you'd like to join that investment club after that, in order to kind of to be with somebody when you're making all these trades, I presume it's great. I'm sure there are a few people here who are from those investment clubs that you can share if you guys enjoy being a part of the investment club. And if you profit from that, you can post it there. So, and also what we do, because sometimes trading it can be kind of lonely job, because you stay in front of your computer. For example, last night I went to bed quite late because the market is so volatile, and there are so many opportunities there. So I had to take them. Okay, so I had to take them, and of course I stayed. But this morning I woke up, I did my yoga and prepared for our events, and now I'm running this event. That's why I don't run it at 8 o'clock in the morning or in the evening, right? Because in the evening I might want to do something else. Okay, this is, guys, what we do here. And we started running joined events where we go together somewhere and study. So, and we went to Thailand, we went to Turkey. Recently, we ran event like a boot camp or retreat, some people call, where a group of investors, they go there and we go through a lot of materials, mostly psychological barriers and how to create the plans, but also we look for trades, we look for opportunities, and some people during that boot camp, they actually make more money than they paid for this boot camp, so which is absolutely fantastic. During our education program, that happens as well quite often as well. Okay, this, guys, a bit of our academy, what we represent. from ourselves. And you probably already kind of understood a bit of about me. So I am from Russia. I was born in Siberia, in very cold city. It would be probably minus 40 degrees right now there. For some people, it seems like insane. Then my parents moved, and they moved me with them as well to the kind of more western part of Russia, where I lived until 28. And at 28, I moved to Ireland. And the interesting thing, I went to Ireland already having a huge business in Russia. So that business which I left at that time, at the moment, generate about $20 million in revenue on a monthly basis. Okay, I am not a part of that business, but I am proud that I was in founding. I was a second person who was founding that business. But then when I decided to move to Ireland, I started a new chapter of my life. So eventually I left all the business shares to my partner, and he developed this business to this fantastic, huge level. Now, when I came to Ireland, it was very interesting experience because I didn't speak English at that time. And also what I've done, I created an experiment with myself. I took only $10 in my pocket in order to came there. And I already arranged the job. And the interesting thing, it was a laboring job. I would personally never do that job in Russia because I already had my high degree. I was a CEO of my company. And when I moved to Ireland, a lot of changes happened within me as a person. So I had to change myself. I actually faced my ego. And I realized at that time that it's quite difficult when you were in a certain level and then you put yourself down quite a lot. It was a very tough experiment. I probably wouldn't do this again, but I'll tell you, it shaped me as a person. Okay, I had to do a lot of jobs. I had to study English, but eventually what I did, I got my education, executive MBA there. And then I moved in a career ladder, and then I opened my business and had showrooms. And the reason why I'm telling it to you, it's not just to tell how good, but to tell you that there are opportunities regardless where you are. I lived in Russia. Russia at that time was a pretty poor country. And despite that, I managed to make money there. So I never was poor unless I put myself in this situation in Ireland. And I managed to do that. And a lot of people in Russia complain that government is shit, and the government was like that, really bad government, and that economy is bad and everything is bad. But even during that time, there were plenty of opportunities to make money. Some people took that opportunities, some people didn't. When I moved to Ireland, I put myself in a disadvantageous position. I didn't have network, I didn't have connection, I couldn't speak English. My education wasn't accepted there completely. So I started not even from zero, I started from negative. And I was 28 already. And despite that, I managed to overcome all these challenges, and I found opportunities in Ireland and become quite successful there. And when I came to Sydney, I completely changed my activities. So at the moment, I'm fully dedicated to stock market because I believe that stock market really changed my life. One night I remember in Dublin, I met this couple, Irish couple, who told me about stock market. They told me that to could travel around the world. They were planning a trip around the world, and they created an income for stock market. At that particular moment, when I heard this story, I thought, okay, that's what I want. I was making money, but I wasn't free. As I explained to you, that business required my full involvement. I had to control my stuff. I had to constantly travel, and within those counties. And every time when I go for holidays, my business will just slow down. And every time I go to Spain or to Croatia for 1 week holidays, I can see that there are no sales coming in. It seems like my staff, my designers, they would close the showroom and go for holidays as well. And I didn't have a chance to control them, no way. So actually, when I moved here to Australia, I left this business to another person just to manage this business. And I hoped that he's going to run it properly. But 2 years later, he closed this business and liquidated it. Okay, which is pretty upsetting because I spent nearly 6 years to build it up, and then another person who wasn't capable for whatever reason destroy that business. Okay, that's why I really enjoy stock market, because stock market you can take with you any place you want. So now at the moment I travel around the world, and you need a laptop, you need your smartphone, and that's it. Okay, so you can travel. I presume for those guys who already doing it, you just have to escalate. And if you're already creating a profit, because I know a lot of people who make, let's say, $500, $1,000 a month, and for them it's just a matter of escalating it. So make it 10 times more. So instead of 500, they will be making 5,000. Instead of 1,000, they will be making 10,000. The only reason, very often reason why people don't do that, because they're not confident. They're not confident that they can put more money. They're afraid to lose that money on the stock market. And today we're going to discuss it, how not to do that. All right, guys, it's a bit press story. And as you probably understand, I have first medical degree and psychology and psychiatry. And it actually helps me a lot to understand the emotions in the market. I believe that was the best education I ever received. Then I have business education, which allows me to understand businesses from that core, and also financial education, which helps me to understand finances. And that's why I'm sitting here in front of you. I personally believe I am allowed to do that. I'm not the guy who just read a book about something and now trying to teach you. I spent like decades in order to study, and I'm trying to put everything, like at least in today's seminar. And then if you decide to join our program, education program, I will be happy to share with you my knowledge in this area. All right, guys, that's what the investment clubs are. We have, as I said, global investment club network. We have multiple clubs, and that's when I go to Russia, and we run huge events there, because I come there quite not that often, right? So the investors come from all over the place to join this event.